Let's discuss what's exactly happened with the stock with Aditya Jhawar. He's a research analyst with Investec and he tracks the company closely. Aditya, thank you for joining in on ET Now. Do you believe it's a bit of an overreaction that we are seeing, on the stock price of UPL at this point? Because yes, I know trade war, etc. is going to be a bit problematic, but that's really not only for UPL. It's going to be for any company that has a global exposure. But do you believe that this sort of a stock fall is really warranted?
Yeah, so there is no fundamental negative news flow that has emerged in UPL in the last 2 to 3 days. In fact, the US-China trade war could have an implication on export of soybean from the United States to China. That essentially means that the acreages could potentially shift to Brazil. And last 1 year, we are seeing this trade playing out, that acreages of soybean in Brazil has been increasing, whereas US has been soft. And to give you some context, UPL is a relatively much bigger player in Brazil as compared to United States. So UPL tend to benefit from this US-China trade war. So per se, I don't think so there is any reason to overly be concerned on these news flows.
That's, of course, one part of the fear that's currently prevalent in the market, the entire trade war thing. And like you said, other companies have a bigger exposure to Brazil. Now, let's talk about the other headwind, and that is with respect to the swine flu that has, gripped Africa. That, in turn, would perhaps impact UPL's African business. But do you believe, again, that it's something significant that one must watch out for?
Yeah, so in terms of geographic exposure, the biggest geographies for UPL continue to be Latin America, which is 25 to 30%, United States, which is about 20%, India is another 20%, and Europe is about 20-odd%. So the exposure to Africa is immaterial. So that really will not move the needle for UPL, the African swine flu.
So both the factors at this point of time are not really something that one must very substantially look into. Aditya, if you could just explain then, what do you think is causing this sort of a weakness in the stock price then? Because like you said, in the last few weeks, there's not really such a major negative trigger or a headwind for UPL, apart from what we've mentioned. And those as well at this point of time are not very material.
Yeah. So, I think there is to some extent of profit booking. The stock has done reasonably well from the lows of about 550 bucks when the Arista deal was happening to almost about 1100 rupees. And there, I don't think so. There is a fundamental angle to this. There could be some profit booking which may take place.
Okay. Well, yeah, the stock certainly had outperformed well recently. So it may be a bout of profit booking kicking in, a very severe one, if you could call it 10% one. Thanks a lot, Aditya, for giving us your quick take on the ongoings of UPL. That HSBC report seems to have perhaps contributed to spooking off the street at this point of time from UPL.